So, ayun, let's get into the discussion. Bren Esports versus Clutch Guild. So, what can you say about these two teams na parehong top-tier team pagdating sa Arena of Valor na ngayon maghaharap sila for the Grand Finals?
Well, first, yeah, sorry.
Okay, who wants to go first?
Kaya hindi na ako nagsalita eh, kasi alam ko pareho sila eh.
Okay, go.
Well, for me personally, one of the things that I really look forward to is nagkatapat na sila dati in a different tournament.
Alright.
And that was a semi-finals game wherein the end result was 2-1 in favor of Clutch Guild. So, parang when I spotted the members of Bren Esports earlier this morning, parang ito yung sinasabi ko, okay, ito na finally yung opportunity nila na pwede silang makabawi. This is potentially vengeance for them, which Will New Era was unfortunately not able to accomplish yesterday kasi sila naman ang nagkatapat sa finals nung same tournament na yun. So, this time around, I'm wondering if Bren Esports has something up their sleeve na natutunan nila as part of the mistakes that they made from that previous game.
And of course, Bren Esports is gonna have their work cut out today with Clutch Guild. Definitely, what you can say about Clutch Guild, you can't say that they're like the perfect team. But what you can say about them is that they're very consistent. In their performances, a lot of the games, their run times on a lot of the games vary between around the 6-minute, 7-minute mark on the qualifiers and around the bracket stages as well. As for the finals, they had a bit of a harder time. They went to maybe a little over 11 and 12 minutes. This is just strictly PPGL. But they have still shown that they, even from a big deficit, goal deficit, like sometimes they were outscaled in the, outsmarted in a lot of the first clashes of the game, but they were able to come back, and that just shows consistency as a team in terms of shot calling, in terms of mentality. So, gotta give it to these teams, man. They really, it's really gonna be a good fight.
Yep, and ako lang naman dito, tingin ko yung Bren Esports, kailangan lang naman nila sagutin yung Clutch Guild dito. Kasi nang una, how do you defeat a team na laging merong trick up their sleeves? At kung hindi man gumana yon, they can always come back doon sa comfort strategy nila. That is a very hard team to defeat.
And I just want to share sa mga nandito, no? Clutch Guild is, yung composition ng team nila was 4 Chinese men at isang Pinoy. So, Bren Esports, lahat sila Pinoy. So, kasi na-notice ko, pag akit ko kanina, mga nagcha-Chinese sila. So, oh, Chinese pala sila.
Yes.
And so, let's get into the draft dito. Okay, classic Shogner and L'Oreal ban. What can you say about the draft?
No surprise, actually.
Yep.
I mean, with Bren Esports early, it was pretty much the talk of the town yesterday.
Yep.
So nangyari, Leather Goods was absolutely phenomenal on that L'Oreal. So hindi na rin ako nagugulat na Clutch Guild after spotting that yesterday. Gonna ban that off right off the bat. So really no surprise the ban so far. I'm really interested in seeing how these picks are gonna ultimately go down.
That's right. A little insight on Bren Esports as well. They kind of mentioned that they're aware from when they caught them last after the games yesterday.
Yes.
They're kind of aware. The Clutch Guild is one of these teams that have practiced on different servers before. Servers that have had L'Oreal for months and months now, and they're pretty aware that it's they're kind of gunning for counters against L'Oreal already. So I'm not surprised by that as well. So far, great picks and bans. I was not surprised with the Senyo prioritization, and of course Joker and Alice on the other side. Very standard picks for both teams.
I actually like yung ginawa ng Bren Esports dito. They pick the Raz agad. Because kung napapansin nyo kasi yung banning na ginagawa ng Clutch Guild, they always ban L'Oreal. As in talagang sa lahat ng games sila, we've seen them ban L'Oreal. So ibig sabihin dito, Leather Goods dito, kung makapag-pose siya ng threat, and if ever sobrang galing ng Raz niya dito, yung L'Oreal ban na yan, might be gone from Clutch Guild at probably sa Game 2 makuha ng Bren Esports yun. There is something about the L'Oreal na ayaw ng Clutch Guild kaya hindi talaga nila pinapalusot.
Alright, hindi nila ibibigay. So, thank you for that, Butter. So, let's have a quick voting. Who's your bet for this game number 1?
Butters muna.
Yeah,
Butters.
feeling ko may idea
As
na
much as I like the Alistair pick
You're an Alistair fan.
as much as I like the Alistair pick, I gotta give it up for Bren Esports. Like, from game 1 pa lang, talagang labas na natin lahat.
Okay.
Pakita na natin kung anong meron tayo.
Bren Esports.
Yeah, in my case, admittedly, Clutch Guild, they're probably one of the favorites to win this tournament right now. But as I mentioned yesterday, I've always been a fan of Bren Esports, both the players as well as the organization that handles them. So I'm gonna give it to them. Not only that, but gaya nga nang na-mention ko, this is vengeance for them. Ito yung opportunity para sa kanila. And then, without a doubt, they came into this match prepared and making the corrections to what mistakes that they made sa unang match na nagkatapat sila.
Yeah. So absolutely, I will have to agree with our two fine gentlemen here. I like that Bren Esports, we have mentioned before, we have mentioned yesterday, Bren Esports pulls out these picks when they're comfortably ahead. I'm very surprised that these picks actually came out, especially leather goods on that Raz. I kind of like the confidence that Bren Esports is showing, and that just shows they have something up their sleeves. They're going to pull it off right out the gate.
All right, so 3 votes for Bren Esports. Let's get the show started. Grand Finals game number 1 of this best of 5 series for Arena of Valor. Bren Esports versus Clutch Kill. Let's pass it on to our casters, Amplifier and Azurai. Take it away.
I just have one question for you, Amplifier. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you guys ready? I hope you guys are ready. The duo's back. It's going to be me, Amplifier, and Azurai for the finals of PPGL AOV. And this is a day we've been waiting for. These two teams are finally meeting after probably a month of games. As we mentioned before, nanggaling kami sa Mindanao, sa Visayas, sa Luzon. These two teams were the ones that really made it all the way to the top. And this is going to be an intense best-of-5 series as we get into our first game.
Man, they climbed up that ladder, and lots of our analysts say that they don't like the composition of Clutch Guild. They prefer how Bren has created their own. But yesterday, when they were going up against Will New Era, they picked Alistair, I believe, 2 times, and this was all like super good or very effective against, I would say, heroes that kind of play around that melee in-your-face playstyle. You know, the Raz and the Nacroth from yesterday was I think was really hindered by that, and we might see something of that similar make here.
Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, Leather Goods just really loves this Raz. He's one of the players in Arena of Valor that have shown us the full potential. He actually went for the Flicker talent here, so that's probably going to open up some of the master plays that we usually see from the scaled Raz players. But I guess one thing to note about Clutch Guild is that they don't really have a solid frontline hero on their side. So it might be a problem if there's going to be a 5v5. There's not really anyone that can absorb a lot of the damage coming from a lot of the heroes here from Bren Esports.
Yeah, that is definitely true, but I think that's why they actually picked up, again, this Alistair and the Alice. Hold that thought, though, as Black gets caught out a little bit here. Arcadia jumps right in, and the damage is going to be real right here, right now. Heal will be had by Black there just to escape the damage output of Bren. And a little bit of the, the harassment right here and there. And into the mid we go. Ben could be in a better situation. He does take quite a bit of damage, but he's still going to be A-okay.
Yeah, Bren Esports taking a lot, kind of harassing CG there. LYL moving into the mid lane. Leather Goods actually forced the Flicker back there, and LYL trying to put down some damage with the Killing Joke. The rest of the members responding here over to mid lane. Everyone kind of meeting in this mid lane right now, but we're also going to be backing off Lubu quite far, and Bren Esports knows they're kind of outnumbered here as they move over to the Sentinel.
Spirit Sentinel will be a contested objective here. You don't see that every day, but there was a couple that tried to start up Abyssal Dragon. In any case, this is Bren trying to match up that early game aggression that we have seen time and time again come out from Clutch. And LYL, as he is nearing that level 4 of his, could go aggressive into the mid, but now Bren actually re-aggresses up onto him, blasts him up with anti-hero, gets the first blood, and they're following up onto Black. He will be no more. Actually, Alistair goes down, and that's going to be 2 kills for Bren, followed up maybe by an Abyssal Dragon. Actually make the 3 kills though.
Yeah, we're going to have a pause here, but Bren Esports, like we said from the panel and just a few seconds ago, it's the confidence. They're showing it right here in this best of 5 here in these finals. They're going to show that even though Clutch Guild may be one of the most feared teams in AOV here locally, they're not afraid to show everything that they've got. And they actually didn't just get 1 kill, they got 2 kills there. I believe Lubu was able to get a double, so good showing up here for Bren Esports so far. And yeah, I'm liking the confidence they've got here.
Good start for them, and it's kind of showing right now that, I mean, I was talking about how there is a lot of counter, the crowd control that Alice and the Alistair brings. Alice and Alistair brings to the fight. But if they can immediately go around that, the skill rotations of those 2 heroes can actually be, I would say outmaneuvered by Bren, and they're showing it. And I think they're just also using that I would guess quick catch-off that Lubu has just to follow it up, as well as the Zenial. So it's kind of working in this in this early game. But the problem is, once we come to that late game, when we get to that point wherein the Joker gets online, it could be a bit too scary for them, but we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. We did see in that mid lane, though, the concern I had at the start of the game, which was that Clutch Guild, they didn't have a front line, you know, on their heroes. And so when we see these 5v5s without a front line, it's Bren Esports just full-on diving onto the mages here of Clutch Guild. And Clutch Guild, they have a difficult time responding because if they get dove on, there is no front line that can match the crowd control that Bren Esports brings to kind of level the team fight. And so I think that's going to be kind of a concern even as we go on to the late game. We'll have to see as we get back into the game here, but it's 3 kills actually onto Bren Esports the first 2 minutes in, and that's going to be an Abyssal Dragon as well.
And I mean, again, we were kind of talking about how in this matchup, Clutch Guild has the upper advantage. You know, again, Rockhard I think said that they aren't the perfect team, but they are a team that is very much consistent in this PPGL tournament. And what kind of scares me for Bren is that they're kind of the opposite of that. That they can be very much inconsistent to the point that, you know, they kind of make these decisions wherein it's gonna be, how do you say this, risky, but at the same time might not be good in terms of effective in objective taking. So they have to be very careful here. But it seems right now that it's a bit more, I would say, stable for them. And if they can keep up the pace, I think they can claim game number 1 here.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. Consistency is one of the biggest factors, especially in series of games. You know, we're having a best of 5 today in today's finals, and you know, with consistency kept in mind, we have seen games before, because I remember the panel was mentioning that Clutch Guild and Bren, they actually faced each other in the semifinals of the Valor Cup last weekend. And in that best of 3 that they faced off each other against, it was actually Clutch Guild that came on top. And a lot of that is definitely because of their consistency. Bren Esports, they tend to make some questionable decisions now and then, like you said, even in the draft. And sometimes, even though they win the early game, they kind of crumble towards the late game. So we're hoping to see a bit more consistency from Bren Esports today. But the good thing for them, though, is that it's looking good for them at the start. The question is, can they bring it all the way over to the late game, or will Clutch Guild come out on top later, as we see over time?
There's always been that debate. I mean, talking about the late game, we're in Violet and Joker. Because, like, if I'm not mistaken, I was like looking at this, let's say, tier listing for heroes in Arena Valor, and they were talking about how Violet is like tier at SS, and Joker would be around tier A plus, something like that. And the only I would say the argument about that is that Joker has a quick burst succession of skills, making him a very potent marksman that can catch you off guard with tons of damage, right? And Violet, on the other hand, has kind of the same thing, but what separates her from that in the Joker is that she has such good repositioning tool with that tumble of hers that makes her, I would say, adaptable in the fight. And having someone like Clutch that has a composition right now that can dive heavy, having a Violet is going to be super adamant for them to actually stick up into that late game, because once the Violet goes down, I don't know where Bren will get their consistent damage output, rather than they have good bursts, but then where is this consistent damage going to come from?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree that Violet is definitely the hero to look at for Bren Esports. You have to protect that Violet, because she's probably the only one who's going to match that kind of damage that Joker can bring, probably. And also considering the other heroes, they also have Irie and Zephys to bring in the damage. So you have to keep the Violet safe, maybe the Raz as well. He does also bring out a lot of pretty good poke damage, you know, with the extreme poke from that power surge that everyone gets annoyed with.
Definitely.
So it's definitely something to look at. Although, like you said, Violet as a hero, that mobility is also really a strength of hers, because in this game, for those who don't play Arena of Valor that much, CC is really such a huge factor in this
pretty
game.
adamant.
Yeah, so really, since there's not much debuffing going on in this game, there's not really anyone to save you from the CC, aside from maybe a Chognar, which was banned in this game. You really have to rely on the mobility of certain heroes like Violet to be able to dodge, you know, all this diving coming in and all that CC.
Yeah. The good counter here for Clutch that I think that they had in their minds, I mean, if we're going to study stock for the draft, since, you know, our game is on pause, their last pick on our drafting was the Irie, meaning that they kind of wanted someone who had more than just one mobility skill, because yesterday, Rockhard was talking about how there are 2 heroes, I think, or at least he put the example, two heroes that had good mobility, that had like 2 to 3 dashes, that being the Nakaroth and this Irie. So I think Clutch Guild wanted to kind of match this mobility of Violet to catch her off guard. And if this does kind of like transition into the late game, we might see, you know, that Irie be that, I would say, linchpin for Clutch Guild to actually get this game, you know, closed out for them.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to wait and see as the game for a while. We're gonna take a short break. They're gonna be fixing a couple of technical problems, I believe, with the Wi-Fi over on stage. We're gonna be back in just a bit, so don't go anywhere. Again, this is the PPGL AOV finals between Bren Esports and Clutch Guild. We'll be right back.
Sorry for the delay, guys, but we are back once again for PPGL 2018 Arena of Valor Grand Finals. My name is Aster, and of course here with me now is Amplifier. And, well, we did have a quick pause, but just a quick recap of what happened on, at the start of the game. It seemed like Bren Esports had a good, I would say, control of it. They were putting the pedal to the metal, and it was just, well, something that we didn't anticipate for game number 1.
Yeah, although, I mean, we mentioned during the panel mentioned, that we mentioned during the early game, it was really great to see Bren Esports with that much confidence in this game 1, but now we're going to go back. As you can see, there's a 3-kill lead right now on the side of Bren Esports. So far, Clutch haven't been able to secure anything for themselves. The first Abyssal Dragon also went to Bren Esports, and now there's going to be a bit of contest over the Spirit Sentinel.
And this is just the power right now of Bren. They know that they have the control of this match. There's so much Bruiser in the front line, and their Assassins for the Clutch side hasn't really come online just yet, and it's kind of making it difficult because right now, Clutch is like working on a half an engine. They have 3 moving parts, but the other 2 are still heating up, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. We have to wait for that Joker to go online, but for now, it seems they're going to be defending their mid lane. The rest of Bren Esports are moving over here as well. Seniel, of course, with that ult, has the freedom to just stay over there in top lane and then use that Angelic Splendor to get back over to the mid lane. Lubu also being left alone down here as well with the Joker. And now we're going to be going back over to the Sentinels. XDD going to have to move back. Forced to use a Ryu, actually. So no ult there. A bit of nice control there from Alistair, and everyone's going to be backing off.
So now, even though Clutch does have a good amount of poke, they kind of get out-poked themselves, as you saw right there, with the Violet as well as the Raz. Peace Boy, though, could be in heaps of trouble here. He's taking super low, but now Zenial comes in to the rescue, and he'll be able to save his comrade there from going down. It's going to be a 3-man stack for Clutch Guild into the mid, but they're trying to match up the rotations of Bren right now as they are looking for that Abyssal Dragon. They'll be actually leashing it for the moment as Peace Boy looking to port back into base, but no. See, LYL here could go for the snipes. Killing Joke, wait for it, hold that thought. We're just trying to see if he's going to be able to do it just a tad second too late. And that's going to be Bren with the second Abyssal Dragon for this match.
Yeah, that's going to be 2 Abyssal Dragons in 5 minutes so far. It's pretty rare that we get to see Clutch Guild not able to secure this early game. So it's a good job from Bren. 5 minutes in, they've got a pretty nice gold lead for themselves, as well as the nice 2 Abyssal Dragons there. Now we'll have to see who's going to be able to secure that first outer turret. But so far, things are looking good for Bren. And I guess this is the trouble. Again, I'm sorry I keep repeating it, but without a front line on the side of Clutch Guild, it's kind of difficult for them to contest these objectives because there's no one to initiate. If Zephys is the one to use that death from above to initiate, he's gonna die quite quickly.
There we go. Starting off with Peace Boy. Spin to win. Let's Beyblade. Let it rip. Another kill for Kuroki. Claiming the 4th kill here for Bren.
Yeah, that's a really good job there from Bren. Really just taking advantage of the lead they've got so far. Next up is going to be the Sentinel. What objective can Clutch Guild contest here? They don't really have that much options. It's just them responding to the movements of Bren.
Yeah, I'm really liking this one. Another pick off there onto Ben. And the biggest thing here was there was a moment where Clutch was actually trying to look for an opening or an initiation by themselves in the bottom lane. But Bren, if you actually see their lane, their side lanes right now, is that they're not overextending. They're not committing to the push. All that they're doing is just keeping themselves on pace while the Raz and the Ormar actually go for the rotations. And it's actually really working for them because Clutch, if they go for the mid, it's kind of difficult to go up against a Raz who has good mobility to exit out in the fights. He can hug his turret all day, every day, and same thing goes with the Violet.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the Raz and the Ormar are really doing the great work here. And then the Violet, because she's so mobile, it's so easy for her to just catch up to the rotation and then clean up the rest of the fight. If you look at the KDAs now, Violet 203 as we see a flash.
Yikes!
In this mid lane, Black is getting deleted so fast. There's only a bit of HP left. Peace Boy trying to finish with kill Leather Goods. He's able to escape. Ben being dove under tower as Violet secures another kill. The KDA is just going wild here for Kuroki. Man, just really the star player right now, able to adjust between these different junglers.
And now XDD on this Irie going to be rotating to the mid, going to provide a little bit of support right now for Clutch as Bren, they want to go for the fight. The Irie will not actually be able to burst down anybody right there as she goes down by herself. Killing Joke actually connects onto the Violet, but that is 2 for the price of 1. And Clutch Guild still not getting a good enough trade for this one as another Abyssal Dragon will be taken here by Anti-Hero and friends. Looks like they're going to be pushed out though.
Man, this Violet, Kuroki on this Violet is uncontrollable right now. There's no one who can land a kill on her, and that's really the problem here. No one can seem to dive to reach the back line here of Bren Esports. That outer mid tower is almost going down for Clutch Guild as well. Slowly, they're losing control over this game, and that was the worry that we had, because as we've mentioned before in the previous days, even yesterday, if Clutch Guild loses a hold of this early game, they usually kind of crumble as they reach that mid to late game. So we'll have to see if they can gain control of this game once again. But right now, the ball is definitely on Bren Esports' hands. They've got the control. Let's see what they do with it.
Yeah, man, they're really dribbling that ball. And, you know, again, I think it has to be Clutch Guild's Irie to bring it back. Maybe it could be the Joker here, but again, like you said, we keep repeating it. We're kind of a broken record on this one, but since they don't have that front line to absorb the damage output to stay prolonged in the team fights, they either have to burst or get on out of there.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game here, I feel, for Clutch Guild.
Yeah, I mean, I think Clutch Guild should really avoid these sort of 5v5 straight-up team fights because they don't have the frontline. Joker is putting down damage onto the Lubu there, but he's going to be going back in the rest of CG, getting very low. There's a kill that goes onto Armar. There's Malleus
no way!
From the Sentinel as he moves in. Ben is being forced to move back as well. He won't be able to escape, though, and that's going to be a couple of kills. Only Irie left for Clutch Guild there.
At least you'll be able to take down that mid-tier turret, but it seems like there's going to be another rotation here for Bren to actually stop that push to bleed into the tier 2, and that's going to be like, what? 4 kills, Abyssal Dragon, and a transition to the bottom tier 1. Oh my goodness, this is just Bren kind of just, I would say, controlling the pace of this game number 1.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the KDAs at the bottom of the screen right now, 617 on this Violet at 9 minutes in, and the Ormar with those 10 assists, they just can't be stopped right now. And I mean, like I was saying earlier, I think the best strategy for Clutch Guild really is to kind of separate the members of Bren Esports, because if you go for those team fights without a proper front line on your team, Clutch Guild are going to crumble just like we saw them crumble earlier in the team fight. They have to use this Irie and this Zephys maybe to sort of separate the different members and then use the Alice to disengage, maybe go for the split push.
Wow, Irie actually using her ultimate right there just to push out Peace Boy as he was, you know, strolling to the park, strolling to the jungle of Clutch Guilds. And I just like to say, you know, every MOBA game that starts, the battle happens first in the drafting, and it's kind of showing right now as they are diving for days. Top tier 1 goes down. The Irie already using his ultimate cannot use that extra shield from the Ryu, and this Joker will get blown up. Son Kuroki gets the last hit, and that's going to be 15-1. 3 members of Clutch Guild will be defending this top tier 2, but at the end of the day, Bren have claimed the rewards that they wanted to reap.
Man, there's like a 6,000 gold lead on the side of Bren Esports right now, almost 7,000, and I mean, I think at this point, it's just so difficult for CG to get back into the game. Your scaling's only going to be coming from maybe the Joker, but at this point, it's just difficult to see how they're going to come back. I really think Clutch Guild may want to revisit their draft. You know, this is something that we don't usually see from them. If you visit the older games that we've seen from Clutch Guild, you know, over from Valor Cup or even the group stages of the PPGL, what we usually see Clutch Guild is comfortable on is a composition where they've got maybe 2 tanks or a couple of bruisers, and then you've got that 1 range carry. But it's so weird to see Clutch Guild on a composition where they've mostly got bruiser assassins and not a single front line to their name. It's really weird to see.
All right. I mean, we're talking about all of the weaknesses now of Clutch Guild, and we've had talking points on how Bren has been, again, been adamant, have been very dominant in this game 1. Now the question is, how can Clutch Guild actually come back, if ever, you know, so that we know what to check out when they try to go for those type of plays?
Well, I do think that the advantage that Clutch Guild has in their comp is that a lot of them are pretty mobile, you know. You've got the Irie who can easily dash, you know, into different lanes or maybe dash into the back line. I think the focus, no, I don't think, definitely the focus that they should be having is to take down the Violet first.
Yeah.
Because a single auto attack from the Violet takes out like what? 20 to 30% of HP from the rest of the members. So if they can't catch that Violet, it's really going to be detrimental for the team. So if they can take out the Violet before the team fight even starts, then maybe they can really start to get rolling again and maybe scale over into that late game.
Yeah, for me, the other things that we've seen during the PPGL tournament is that we have seen Zephys go for these type of split push strats, which we have seen in the past. And if the Zephyrs just go to that point if Clutch Guild can control the pace of this game, even though they're losing, you know, the control of it for now. They still have the Alice, they still have the Alistair to go and have those, you know, good amount of crowd controls to keep maybe Bren here tethered. They can give enough time for this Joker, this Zephys, to come even more online and put that Zephys in a position wherein maybe 2 or 3 members of Bren have to deal with him, because I feel like if the Violet isn't there, if the Raz isn't there, Zephys can duel anybody from Bren.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe a 1-3-1 split push would probably be a nice configuration. You know, you put the Irie and the Zephys alone in their own lanes. You know, they're pretty mobile. They can escape from anyone. And then you leave the rest of the 3, I think that's Joker, Alice, and Alistair, to just back off, you know, use that zone control, use the silence of the Alice, maybe a bit of disengage from the Joker to just keep them at bay, control the waves. Maybe, just maybe, the Iris and Zephys can push, the Irie and the Zephys can push hard enough to confuse Bren Esports, and then maybe they can start to pick off the members one by one, especially the Violet.
Yeah, I mean, another strategy that I thought was like 1 forward push, wherein the Zephys would do that, and then the Irie, you know, hides in the shadows. If the Alistair or the Alice can actually connect a good enough route, that's where the Irie just, you know, pops out of nowhere, blows up the Violet, if that's what they get, and then that could be where they actually snowball from the fight. But for now, Bren have been very good with their positioning. The Lubu as well as the Ormar just straight up in your face.
Yeah.
Raz follows up and just, you know, punches everybody, you know, just knocks off out of their lights, you know, Ippo Makanochi style. Yeah.
If anyone gets the reference,
I'm pretty sure they will. I'm pretty sure they will. We're all Filipinos here, man, or most of us are Filipinos. We watch afternoon anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's also important to remember this is a best of 5, right? So maybe Clutch Guild, you know, they kind of have that room for them to kind of test things out in game 1. Can this kind of composition work? Do we really need a front line in our composition all the time?
Yeah.
I think they've realized that maybe they do. So this game 1 will be a kind of tester for them to say, okay, we've learned our lessons from game 1. Moving on to the rest of the games, we can kind of adjust our team composition. That's the advantage with having a best of 5 series, because yesterday, when we were having our games, if it's only a best of 3, if you lose the game, the first game, you only have one last chance, you know, to kind of get back into the series. But at least here, even if you lose the game, you still have 1 or 2 games for you to kind of get back. So Clutch Guild, they can definitely test the waters here. Bren Esports, though, like the panel said, it was them really showing everything they had in game 1. They weren't willing to sacrifice anything. And I guess that kind of gives them the advantage of momentum. You know, if you secure game 1, it gives you that kind of confidence to try and win the future games.
Yeah, true. That 100% agree on that one. And another thing that I kind of noticed here from yesterday's matches, or how these teams kind of like play around, is that both of their solo laners, Arcadia and actually forgot the one from Clutch Guild, but the thing I'm trying to point out here is that Clutch Guild and Bren, both of their players. Trying to see here. I think that's
XDD.
XDD, yeah. Both of them play a really good Zenyo. And I think one of the highly contested picks here isn't the L'Oreal, even though that she's out right now and both teams can really capitalize on her. It's the usage on the Zenyo, because it gives that factor wherein Bren can take that away from Clutch Guild, not because they can use it for themselves. Well, of course they can, but because Clutch Guild's playstyle requires them to actually have someone who can split push and at the same time be their front line. And because they couldn't have the Zenyo, I don't know what they can actually bring to the table anymore to actually make that happen. But they did use Thane yesterday, but I don't think he can actually provide the same utility as the Zenyo has. But in any case, Bren are looking to finish off this game as they have congested or pinned down Clutch Guild in their base.
It's kind of crazy to watch Leather Goods and Kuroki on this Violet and Raz. The poke damage is just amazing from them right now. They're really carrying the team forward, and it's really forcing Clutch Guild to sort of back off from the towers. Arcadia moving in here. The rest of the members trying to lock him down. Is he going to go down the shields? That's too much. There's the heals. Joker's actually able to take him down, but can they defend the base? The rest of the members are crumbling, and Leather Goods on his favorite, that Raz, is able to get a lot of kills. Ben is the only one left alive. Can he defend this turret? No. Ladies and gentlemen, the first game of this finals is going to go over to Bren Esports.
How do you like that? They try to force out the kill on the Zenyo, and, well, you know what? We're just going to be following up on you, punish you down, and it happened, and in the blink of an eye, all of them were evaporated. I don't know, what's another term for it? dissolved.
Yeah. Evaporate is probably a better word.
Yeah, dissolved. Yeah, evaporated is a definitely. Anyways, all right, guys. So we're gonna just pass it on to our analyst desk to give us or analyst couch to give us even more insight for that one as we wait for game number 2. So you guys, take it away.
All right, thank you so much, Asarai and Amplifier. So that's it for the game number 1 of this Best of 5 series here at Globe PPGL 2018 for the game Arena of Valor. And I am back, Aki from Mineski. I'm with Arctic, Rockhard
Hey.
and Potter. Sorry, I kept on forgetting your name and Amplifier's name. So I'm so speechless. That was a very amazing performance from Bren Esports. What can you say about that match?
Well, what I can say about that is kind of called it. You could see right off the bat what Asarai and Amplifier have been saying as well. Lack of front line. Bren Esports was able to capitalize on that compositional mistake.
Yep.
I think that was a drafting win for Bren Esports overall.
Yes.
And I
You
think
guys
the
predicted
rest-
that already.
Yeah, the rest of the panel, I'm pretty sure actually agree.
Yeah, and what's really interesting here is that the thing about Clutch Guild here is that they're one of the few teams that I've seen in the Philippines that really maximizes this Alistair pick. But going into this game, I could barely feel his presence. But then again, I'd have to agree, looking at the draft, I guess that is kind of a component as to why it wasn't utilized as much. And even though Clutch Guild, by history, they're kind of efficient at prolonging the game long enough so that they could try to make that comeback once they reach optimal skills, get all the items that they need. But in all fairness, with this game right here, because of the pace that Bren Esports picked it up, they just played it all the more better.
I'm really happy na na-pull off ng Bren Esports to dun sa picks nila.
Yes.
Kasi nga yun nga yung sinasabi natin kanina, comfort picks.
Comfort
This
picks.
is their comfort picks. If ever man na nagkaroon sila ng problema dito at na-take ng Clutch Guild yung game na to, that will hurt their confidence. That will be a problem for them bouncing back to game 2. But for Bren Esports dito, kailangan lang nila i-take into consideration na even if sobrang lamang nila, sabihin natin 13-1, yung net worth lead nila hindi
Yes.
ganun kataas.
Of course.
So, Clutch Guild dito, alam pa rin nila yung ginagawa nila eh. So, kailangan mag-watch out dito ng Bren Esports.
I think there was a time na 25,000 gold yung net worth yung Bren Esports
Yep.
and 23,000
Yep.
net worth yung Clash Kids. So, hindi sila nagkakalayo.
Yep.
Then, there's still a chance na merong isang skirmish na makakapag-turn around
Yes.
ng But, sadly, hindi natin siya makita. So, for you guys, ano yung kailangan gawin ng Clutch Guild for the next game para makita natin yung totoong Clutch Guild na kilala nyo?
Well, first off, Clutch Guild, they gotta up the tempo, I think. I think they're a team that kind of takes comfort in having very early game leads. Once you get that rolling, that's why they have this reputation of having a good team, because they finish games so quick. They finish games on 6 to 7 minutes, and I think they just need to make a composition that goes around that win condition, and I'm pretty sure they can even up the series very quickly.
I'd have to agree with Rockhart right there. And of course, with that being said, it ultimately comes down to how the draft will be going for them in this next game. Because in order to accomplish just that, in order to solidify what they're good at, which is once they really pop off in the early game, it's like there's no turning back. You just really have to utilize what heroes you can to enforce that.
Yung mga sinabi nila, nakuha na din nila naman. Ako lang, sa akin, stay composed lang for Clutch Guild. I know na medyo natalo sila dun sa game 1, but still, they still have a lot of strategies na pinakita nila nung PPGL online qualifiers. Hindi nila kailangan magpanik dito eh. As long as laruin lang nila yung laro nila, I think yung game 2 mapupunta sa kanila dito.
Yes, I have to agree with Amplifier earlier na it's just game 1, so they can test the waters on this one. They still have game 2, game 3, and of course this is a best of 5 series. So Bren Esports, they have all the momentum already, so they take the game 1. So what can you say about Bren Esports na yung ma-advise nyo sa kanila to keep the I must say fire burning?
Well, choo-choo train that thing. Just keep keep the draft winning.
Yep.
I think Clutch Guild has these compositions that they kind of fall back into. So if they can kind of look at the composition Clutch Guild is looking at, usually plays, just try to outpick them. Maybe steal their picks. Try to run counters as much as possible. Make sure that they win early game. Bren Esports has to win the early game. Don't let Clutch Guild run into this a 6-minute composition again, please. That's just what they have to do, keep it going.
And at the same time, what I really love about Bren Esports is that just by history, every single person on that team has pretty much proven themselves as a highly qualified talent here in Philippine esports. So as long as the drafts go to a point wherein they could continue to play to what heroes they're comfortable with, then I have no doubt that Game 1 is just going to transition to all the more better games for them if they could keep up that momentum.
Yep.
All right. So that's it. We're going for the game 2 in a while. Once again, this is PPGL 2018 Season 1 Arena of Valor, ladies and gentlemen, organized by MET. And before anything else, we would like to thank our sponsors, Globe, Twitch, Mineski, Infinity, Cyber Cafe, and our official media partner, Mineski.net, in cooperation with Mobile Esports Arena and Playbook Esports. Once again, this is Aki of Mineski. I am with Rockhart, Arctic, and Butters. We will be back after a short break for the game number 2.